Welcome to The Real Authority. Today I'm talking about In the Gray, the long-delayed Guy Ritchie directed and written action spectacle, maybe. I don't know. It has Henry Cavill in it, so you know it's going to be somewhat fun. The premise, the best way I could phrase it, is this group of operatives featuring Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal, and headed by Isaac Gonzalez. They're tasked with reclaiming $1 billion sum stolen from this rich, wealthy dude, using tactics that balance the line between legal means and illegal means. And yeah, Guy Ritchie action flick. I'm gonna be real with you. The trailer really did sell me on In the Gray. Beforehand, I was like, yeah, the delays are making it seem to not really be good. Then the trailer kind of just won me over, and I'm like, there's no right for a trailer to sell me on the fact that this movie could be this solid this way. I don't know. I guess I was just like, it might not be good, but I think I may actually have fun with it. I haven't seen a lot of Guy Ritchie movies, but the ones I did see are either very disappointing and just decent to actual entertaining flicks, say Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It has no right being as good as it is, but yeah, it was just hell of a lot of fun. So I was really expecting that from In the Gray, while also understanding that the numerous delays might actually be noticeable in the final product. You don't understand, it was actually supposed to release last year by Lionsgate, but then they actually reverted the rights to, I think, Black Bear. I think they were one of the production companies, in which then it was supposed to release this April, but then they slated it for the release date it ultimately had because it released last Friday. And from what I heard, the thought process was that there was nothing more they could do, so they were going to just release it the way it is, regardless of how messy it turned out. Before I let you know whether or not that translates into the final product, I might as well start off with the positives, because the actors really do strong work. I mean, you got Henry Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Isaac Gonzalez. This is a trio of solid actors, but also actors who have worked with Guy Ritchie before. So it really does feel like they understand his flavor and style in a lot of ways, and I really do feel that works. I mean, Henry Cavill, the gruff type, but also smooth talker. Jake Gyllenhaal is also a smooth talker, but is much more calm and much more, I guess, ambitious. I don't know. Basically, Cavill and Gyllenhaal are a buddy cop pairing made in heaven, and Isaac Gonzalez is the sexy femme fatale heading the charge, and yeah. So yeah, this trio really does hold this movie together, alongside the solid direction from Guy Ritchie, which really does benefit itself when it comes to the action. Like, even the weaker Guy Ritchie movies that I've seen, at least it has a style to it in terms of its action. Even in a weak movie, Guy Ritchie is able to inject the flavor of fun into the action, and I do feel here that sentiment remains true. Aside from the banter that Cavill and Gyllenhaal obviously do, I mean, it's a Guy Ritchie movie, the action was the main star of the show. I'll get to the screenplay in a little bit, but I do feel like if you're here for anything but the action, you're kind of here for the wrong reasons. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. You're either here for wit or solid action. It just so happens that In the Gray excels at its action. And I do feel there are a lot of moments and lines where the wittiness that Guy Ritchie has basically made a career out of does shine through, and I do feel those were uplifting and comedic moments. I mean, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. He wrote The Thing, even though the screenplay overall is something that I will get to in a minute. There are still moments where his organic wit is present. Also, Ed Wild's cinematography, especially during the action, it was just slick and gruff, and I think that's also one of the reasons why I was excited. When Cavill, Gyllenhaal, and Gonzalez get on that dune buggy, the cinematography just looks really good there, and it really does feel like a Guy Ritchie style, translated to the screen by Ed Wild's cinematography. It was true for Operation Fortune Rüdiger, and it's true here. Mixed elements. I'm going to start off with the screenplay. Like, Guy Ritchie is known for being a pretty smart writer, but I really do feel that with the production bumps and hurdles that this movie went through, it does feel like Ritchie's screenplay, while it does have his organic style, it feels a lot more messy and a lot more different than what I know Ritchie to be capable of. I don't know, it really does feel like it's a bit all over the place, to the point where the first half has narration and this weird style where it, like, blueprints the plan on screen, but then the second half kind of ditches both of those elements in favor of just a standard fun action comedy, which is super weird. Like, I do feel Ritchie is known for a lot of consistency. Like, I feel like in terms of doing any detours, it usually fits the tone of the overall movie, while here it kind of does interrupt the flow and consistency of the movie, which is very weird. Like, I'm not saying the screenplay is bad, but it does have its issues, and it doesn't really have a consistent format, which Guy Ritchie is usually known to be able to do. And it kind of makes it so that, aside from some wit and the action, Guy Ritchie's fingerprints aren't exactly on this movie as much as you would want it to. Moving on to the full negatives, I do feel like a lot of the reasons why the screenplay just doesn't work is that the storytelling is not exactly consistent or straightforward, and I do feel the movie really wanted to go there, but they couldn't ultimately fill the 1 hour and 37-minute runtime, so they kind of just tried course correcting when really it kind of just causes the pacing to go up and down constantly, usually saved by the action, but that can't overlook the fact that a lot of the time I was kind of bored. And that's not to say that it doesn't make the action stand out a lot more, because it does. I feel like the action should complement the overall package instead of being the main course, unless that's what they were going for. But it's clear that they wanted to do something more. At least that's what I thought about it. And yeah, I must emphasize the fact that this was long delayed, clearly in a bit of a production hell state, although this is not the worst example of a film just barely escaping production hell, although it does feel like it has numerous different identities that are just conflicting with each other. It wants to be a fun action comedy in one place, but it also wants to be a pretty ingenious yet kind of standard generic storyline about this group of people who are sent to fix the wrong things. Kind of like in Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, where the most unexpected people are the right heroes. They could be bad, and you'll have a Carl Edway saying they need to be. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, in the end, I did somewhat enjoy In the Gray. I do feel like it's one of Guy Ritchie's weaker films. Even though it's majorly downscaled, enough of that Guy Ritchie wit and flavor is in here to make for a thoroughly enjoyable movie. But it's really the action and Cavill, Gyllenhaal, and Gonzalez that are really selling it for me instead of the overall package. Mileage may vary. I know someone watching is probably a bigger Guy Ritchie fan than me. But for the real authority, he would approve. For whatever streaming service it's going on. I usually know what streaming service it's going on, but Black Bear is a new distributor, so whatever it goes on, not exactly rent or buy, but whatever streaming service it goes on should be your best bet. 6 out of 10. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and comment your thoughts on the movie, and let me know what your favorite Guy Ritchie film is. Or most underrated. I don't know. Let me know. Alright, peace.